behalf of all the employees of Wausau, we welcome you here to come and engage and see how quality custom homes are built indoors when it's nice and cold outside. It's warm in here, and we're doing very well. We've got a great employee force, and we're hiring going into the wintertime, which is always a wonderful story, and I know that that story is really due a lot to the quality of the culture, employees that we have here, but also to a government that lets us do things that we want to do. A government that allows us to use our creative resources and our employees to build the American dream for people so they can form and live in communities in their own hometowns. And we know that Sean Duffy has done a great job, and he's got a legacy that we want Tiffany to carry on as well. So we want to bring him up here soon and have him share his ideas and his plans for the future of the employees of this organization. So thank you for coming, and I want to bring Mary up here now to introduce some people. Thank you.
Well, thank you. Thank you, Jay, and I have to tell you, as a former Christmas tree grower, I want to thank you for the natural, beautiful Christmas tree that you have in your lobby. That's amazing, so thank you for representing the Northwoods also. You know, my name is Mary Felskowski. I'm the representative from the 35th Assembly District and very proud to represent Northern Wisconsin. And it's an honor to be here today with two of my very close friends that have also been legislatively very involved, Senator Tiffany and Congressman Sean Duffy. You know, it's not easy to represent a district the size of Sean's with over 20 plus counties, but no one has been a better advocate for the state of Wisconsin, but more importantly for Northern Wisconsin. A true conservative who's fought for the taxpayers, who's fought for life, who's fought for pro-life and the unborn child, and we thank Sean for that. I would also like to thank Sean's wife, Rachel, because between the two of them, they have been advocates for conservative values in the state of Wisconsin. And with that, I would like to introduce our former congressman, but always close in our heart, Sean Duffy.
Thank you, Mary. Jay, thanks for having us here. I got to tell you, it was a little over 10 years ago, I actually came to Wausau Homes, and it was many people thought a long shot when I ran for Congress, when I announced here at Wausau Homes that I would actually have the great honor and privilege of serving in this district. But that happened here 10 years ago, and I want to thank you for that and all of your support and your support for Tom today. But when I ran for office 10 years ago, I wanted to fight and make sure we had a brighter future for our kids. I wanted to push back and fight back against this rising and creeping socialism. I wanted to preserve capitalism, this great system that we have in America. And I had the honor and privilege to serve the people that I love and the place that I care about for 8.5 years. But for me, I looked at that fight that we're having in America, but I also then had to look at the needs I have in my own house, my own home. Many of you know that I have a daughter with special needs, and she has a heart condition as well. And if we don't get our families right, I don't think we get anything right. And so I made the hard decision to step back and take care of my family, which has also then presented us with a unique race in the 7th District. And what we're looking at here, and what we saw happen yesterday, is an impeachment of a president who has done nothing but fight for the forgotten men and women in America. I mean, if you look at what's happened since President Trump was elected, is we have seen growing wages, rising opportunity in America, and especially places like right here in rural Wisconsin. I mean, so often when people go to Washington, they look to whether it's urban America or suburban America, but so often they forget about rural America. And if you look at what President Trump has done, whether it's fighting for better trade deals or better tax codes or smarter regulation, those policies that we helped President Trump implement have helped explode our economy. And we're 10 years in to this growth, and it's because of the principles that we fought for that allowed the American people and the American businessman to expand and grow and pay better wages. We have to keep that up. And to think that Democrats would impeach our president yesterday for what I would say is are unimpeachable offenses, we need someone who's actually going to step up and fight back and push back against this progressive liberal left that was trying to impeach the president for the last 3 years. We needed a fighter. We needed a doer who's willing to stand up. Not only that, as I mentioned, 10 years ago we were talking about creeping socialism, but right now we have candidates that are running for the presidency that are socialists. And if you look at the American model, what we've done in this country is had an American free enterprise system that has created the most opportunity, the most prosperity, the most upward mobility, the most generosity and creativity that's ever existed on the face of the earth. And we have Democrats that want to cash that in, trade that in for a system that whenever tried has always failed. It's never worked. And so we need fighters that are going to go in and preserve this model that has made this country so great. And so as the former member of this amazing, awesome, great district, the place that I love, it's my honor to be here today and with all of you holding those awesome signs to endorse someone who I've known for the last 10 years. Someone who I know as an assemblyman and as a senator has gone to Madison and he hasn't lost his way. And to the ire of many in different parts of the state, has stood up and fought for northern Wisconsin on issues that they care about, that the rest of the state may not care about, but Tom Tiffany knows that his constituents care about. And he took those issues and fought for them in Madison. No matter who no matter who he made upset, no matter who he angered, he took the values of his constituents to Madison. And I want a fighter in this district who's going to go to Washington, someone who's going to defend our great president, someone who's going to fight back and push back against socialism, someone who's going to fight back against intrusive regulation, who wants smarter tax codes, who's going to actually help us defend our border, whether it is smart technology, it's a wall, but smart immigration policies that make sure that we Americans decide who come into our country instead of anyone who has an inkling in their heart to just walk across our border and come in with us not knowing who they are. And so today, as I look at someone who can carry the torch forward, someone who can continue this great fight, someone who cares about the Northland, and someone who's going to take our values to Washington, it is my great honor to endorse and introduce to you our current senator and future congressman from the Wisconsin 7th District, the great Tom Tiffany.
Well, good morning, everybody.
Good morning.
It is great to be here at Wausau Homes, a place that builds the American dream. And our family knows about it. Both sides of our family knows about it. My wife, Chris, her grandparents, they lived in a Wausau home out west of Minocqua on Mercer Lake. I remember when I first met Chris, he say, well, we're having a family party out at the Wausau home. That's where we were going. My mom, she built a Wausau home 20 years ago. Rock solid, just like Wisconsin, right? Across America, people recognize, when they think about Wisconsin, this is one of the things they recognize is Wausau Homes. Thanks for all the work that you've done here over the decades at Wausau Homes and just the opportunity that you brought to families here in Wausau and across this region. I want to thank Pat Snyder, representative from Wausau, for being here. Thank you, Pat. Thank you for the work that you do here in Wausau. And thank you very much, Representative Mary Felskowski, to be here to introduce me today. I have had no greater privilege to work with somebody in Madison than Mary. And we have made sure that northern Wisconsin has had an outsized voice down in that state legislature. And it's just been a great privilege to work with you, Mary. So last night they did it. They impeached the President of the United States of America. They used pure partisanship to impeach this president. Speaker Pelosi and her squad, They use the powers of the Congress to impeach this president in what really is a sham impeachment. I mean, think about the Congress of the United States. When I think about the Congress, one of the greatest institutions that has been started by man in the history of humankind, where people across the country send someone to be their voice and to bring freedom to people, to make sure that there's accountability to those people back in all those districts, 435 of them across America. But instead, we see Washington, D.C. and the elites saying, we do not accept the president that you sent to us. They are trying to nullify our vote. Those folks that are behind me here, and myself, they are trying to nullify our votes from 2016, when the people of the 7th Congressional District sent a clear message across America when they said, we're going to vote for Donald Trump for the presidency of the United States. And now they're trying to wipe that out. We've seen this before. So, I've been a small businessman my whole life. And by the way, I want to thank my wife, Chris, who's here today, who followed along with that harebrained idea to buy a dinner and excursion boat that we operated for 2 decades, and then has stuck with me through the times that I've run for the legislature and served here in Wisconsin. Thank you very much, Chris. But I remember back in 2010, Wisconsin had big problems. And I went in with a group of like-minded citizen legislators like Mary and Pat. And we said, we're going to change Wisconsin. And we did that. And you remember, there were people in Madison said, this is unacceptable. You're changing the status quo. And we had impeachment right here in Wisconsin. Only we didn't call it impeachment. It was the recalls. We all went through that, right? And we beat those recalls back. And that's what gives me great optimism. And it's why I will stand with President Trump and people across America as we go into 2020. And we are not going to let this impeachment go forward. So thank you, Sean. Thank you for the endorsement today. Thank you for the kind words. Yeah, it was a decade ago. It was a decade ago that guy had a vision for northern Wisconsin. He said, we can do better, we can do different. We can bring freedom back to people. And that's the thing that I will always remember about Sean Duffy. He fought for freedom and opportunity. He knows when government gets too large, families shrink. When we have a government, especially a federal government, that recedes and we put our strength in families, that is when America is the most prosperous. Thank you for fighting for freedom, for opportunity, and for families, Sean. Thank you so much for everything that you've done. So I can't resist, I do have a little bone to pick with Sean. I watched his video last week when he took Rachel out on a date night at the White House Christmas party. Sean, you know how much pressure that puts on us men? Our wives look at that. By the way, Rachel looked gorgeous. Absolutely. And by the way, I think Chris and Mary probably, when you're in your tux, they think you look gorgeous too. Oh, yeah. Yeah, I know, we're 10 years ago, it was just a great pleasure to work with Sean, somebody that saw an opportunity here in northern Wisconsin to change the way that we were going to go about doing business, and he fought for us every single day. And he also gave us an outsized voice. I mean, when he goes through airports across the country, people know who Sean Duffy is. He left a great imprint for the people of the 7th Congressional District. And that's a really big challenge for the person that's going to follow him. I accept that challenge. I accept that challenge. If you vote for me, if you support me, I will make sure that this transition is seamless. From Sean Duffy to Tom Tiffany. You will have a strong voice out in Washington, D.C. The farmers, the manufacturers, the people in the tourism businesses in northern Wisconsin, you are going to have a strong voice out in Washington, D.C. And I will, just like Sean has, over the last 3 years, I will stand with President Trump to bring us prosperity. I mean, these are great things that he's done. The tax cuts, great optimism that's out there. The regulatory reform, taking that red tape that strangles people and reducing it and putting judges on our courts that respect the Constitution. You can't do any better than that. So I just like to say this in closing. I grew up on a dairy farm in western Wisconsin. 5 brothers, 2 sisters. We milked 50 cows. Classic Wisconsin American farm family. Mom and Dad always taught us that you have all the opportunity in the world in America. And all of us have seized that opportunity. I want that same opportunity for our daughters, Carlin, Lexi, and Catherine. I want that same opportunity for them, for their friends. We volunteered in their schools all these years. I mean, we've been there every day volunteering in their schools. We've been there at their volleyball matches and their swim meets. We were at the Nutcracker Saturday night for the 15th time, I think. And it was a terrific performance once again. But that's what America is all about. It's about freedom, opportunity, and it is about family. And I want those kids, their friends, your children and grandchildren, to have the same opportunities in America that my brothers and sisters have. And I look forward to working with President Trump to keep America great. Thank you very much.